It's against all odds time, baby. I guess the odds are all against us. No, okay, fair enough.
I mean, I'll argue the odds of the odds of the show recovering from the Nasty Boys versus Team 3D in 2010. It's a pretty high number that it doesn't recover. That's all I'll say. Like, it was supposed to be in the dead spot, and unfortunately, it killed the show. Like, it really, oh boy. Just fuck you, Hulk Hogan. Fuck you, Eric Bischoff. Why the fuck are the Why did we have to? If you at least fired the Nasty Boys in 3 months, why just not give them a job in the first place?
Funny, innit? My response. But yeah, the nasty. Yeah, we'll get to it in a second. But to kick off the show, we have our 8 card tournament. We have our 8 card stud tournament first round, where we have D'Angelo, De Niro, the Pope versus Nigel McGuinness, aka Desmond Wolfe. Decent match, honestly. Honestly, didn't expect a lot from Elijah Burke, but he did great. He did good in what he was doing.
I
What do
feel like
you?
he's kind of the. It feels like he's kind of the sleeper hit, where you don't really expect him to. I don't know, because they were just kind of trading back and forth victories, and yeah, no, finally, like the Pope wins when it matters most. Yeah, it was all right. It was a quite short one. It was quite a short affair, really. Like I said, after a couple of matches, they have actually started to kind of figure out how to work with one another. But I don't know. To me, it feels like it's the. It felt like if 2009 was the year where Nigel McGuinness's stock rose, 2010 is where I don't know. He just gets really envious looks from Hogan and Bischoff. Like, yeah, but he's just English, isn't he? He's boring. Doesn't even speak English, does he? Bastard.
Just gonna pause very quickly. But yeah, welcome back. I just had to really cough it. The 7 Up went down wrong. But yeah, see, not see, like we say a lot. You can build a company around these people, but I feel like it will be a key part of 2010 TNA, like akin to WCW 2000. Even though WCW 2000 is a bit of a weird spot, because in the first half they went, yeah, fuck all the old guys, they're not good. Yeah, let's stick them in a heel faction, but everyone will root for them. And everyone will clearly root for the will clearly root for the younger guys, even though they root for the Millionaires Club. I feel like this might be the same situation where they will try and somehow fuck up pushing younger stars. Like nothing against Jeff Hardy or RVD, I know he's not here yet, or Mr. Anderson. But like the problem is, again, it's the kind of same boat where you can invest in your younger talent, but if you don't do it, and then say, for instance, AJ Styles leaves, you kind of do need someone to fill his spot. And yeah, it's just a shame that they're not really going to do that with Desmond Wolfe or D'Angelo De Niro. Let's be real, are they putting the belt on him? No, they're not. Um, it's just a weird thing in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of a. I don't know. I like it. I do enjoy kind of. Yeah, it's a weird thing where at some point in time in wrestling, you do have to take the time to build the newer stars because at some point in time, you know, you're not gonna be able to have Angle in the main event picture. You're gonna be able to have Sting. Obviously, the joke is, of course you fucking can. So Dixie's probably still paying Sting now somehow. She's probably still got money going to Sting, even though she's not involved in the wrestling business anymore. But like, it,
he's a tax write-off.
at some point you need the next generation to take over and become the main event guys and then carry it forward. And TNA were in that really kind of unfortunate spot where they had all of the talent who should have been the main eventers, like AJ Styles, like Samoa Joe,
Daniel.
like ah
Saving to an
ah
extent. Shelley, Young, Rude,
Uh,
Storm.
yeah, like obviously then like Rude, James Storm, these sorts of characters who like even Shelley could have probably been a main eventer. He's held a bunch of world titles and other promotions. But at some point you do need to cave in and go, we need to build more main event talent. And yeah, sure, it may be at the cost of some older stars, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just need to commit to it. And as much as it is a shame, I can understand why they don't exactly want to build up Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
because the character's a bit shit, and yeah, sure, he's kind of fun for us because we like him. But if you don't have that like already buy-in for him, you just kind of go, he's just a bit boring, isn't he? But
I
he's
mean,
not. He is really good, and he did just better. But for example, because the Pope in this instance, yeah, sure, he's not really that intriguing a wrestler, but he's kind of got the makings of like a loudmouth star type character who I'm not against them pushing, but also he falls off a cliff at some point pretty soon. Like I think this is the peak of his push and he never gets anywhere remotely close to it. So
yeah. Look, again, it's just you'll hear us say it a lot during this arc. But the one thing TNA did, and I know this is going to be a lol TNA bit, but the one thing TNA sort of did learn from WCW was building the young talent. I know we're gonna laugh at that because like Angle staying, but they did learn from it. It's just when Hogan and Bischoff got in, and even before then, but when mostly Hogan and Bischoff got in, it was like John
I mean,
Morley.
it's like even a few years before, right? Where like one of the more famous like TNA feuds is the core like Styles Joe, and then you have Angles Joe,
Yeah, I'd agree.
and then you do have these where you are incorporating some prime talent, but like it's the it's it's the time where yeah, it's just the crossover time as to when you should have your main eventers be established main eventers, but most of your main eventers never held the belt beyond their like initial couple years.
I mean,
Like I'm like AJ. Does AJ hold the belt after this time?
yeah, he holds it in like 2012, I believe. 'Cause remember, he has that thing with EC3 where he's the real world champion, and then EC3 has to go hunt him down, but then he doesn't. And then Styles comes back, loses the belt to EC3, and EC3 is
Mm.
the definitive champion.
And
Um,
then you know like Samoa Joe. I don't think Samoa Joe's world champion after this point.
I mean, a funny example is Joe. Is Joe's peak was 2006 in TNA. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
like count his ROH run. I'm just purely gonna talk about TNA. His peak was 2006, 2005, 2006. But TNA in a lol TNA moment went. When is his peak? 2008. Ah, because they didn't put the belt on him in '06 because guess who needed the belt? Jeff Jarrett, and they waited till Angle and Joe in '08 to do the belt with Joe, which is just weird in my opinion because I do think like Monty Brown, maybe because maybe you could still put the belt on Joe. I know you have Christian in there, but you could have put the belt on Joe earlier than 2008. I don't know how, but you could have and still had Angle beat him because like if you're bringing in Kurt fucking Angle, you do build like for
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
established talent. You do build your company around fucking Kurt Angle. It's Kurt Angle, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, enough on that. I'll just TNA will hopefully learn from WCW's mistakes, but we will see.
I
And
mean,
they
it's kind
have.
of like a sense of like current AEW, right? Where yeah, sure, the first world champion is Chris Jericho,
Mhm.
but beyond that point, you then go to actual AEW guys. You know, you go to Kenny, you go to Mox. You know, if Hangman's held the belt,
Joe,
MJF, Joe. Like I say
Punk.
that the Joe one's still a bit suspect, but
Uh,
ah,
It just depends on your taste, really, because I do think, even though I do complain about Joe holding the belt, it does work in a sense because for the first time he was a transitional champion because it was to get Swerve to be champion, and I feel like the
Yeah,
second time is going to be him holding it for a month or two to be another transitional champion, which is good compared to say like when Punk won it, and then Punk was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? I'm injured now. Oh fuck." You're gonna fight John Moxley. He's gonna beat you easily, and then you're gonna win the belt back and get suspended for what you did, and also you injured your shoulder. So, yeah. So yeah, it's a weird one. But continuing on, we have the DNA of TNA, the blueprint, the carbon footprint. Matt Morgan versus Hernandez. Do you want to hear us with one, Ash?
no,
Okay. And yeah, this was an alright match as well. Hernandez is a weird
honest.
one.
Yeah, that's how it
Uh,
came out.
I was just gonna say Hernandez is a weird one to me because I I've slowly grown appreciation for Hernandez. He's not like by all means like fucking brilliant, but like having seen some of his matches where he was in LAX fighting Styles and Daniels, it's like he's how can I say this? When he's fighting people like Styles and Daniels, he does play the big man role because he is tall. It's just when he's against people like Matt Morgan, where he looks like a fucking drop in the rain. Like, he's just tiny in comparison. But yeah, if you haven't seen his matches where he was in LAX fighting like Styles and Daniels in '06, oh, you should watch it. And also, everyone knows the iconic moment where he border tosses fucking Gail Kim. Um, but this match is solid. These two start train wrestling for the start of it, which is
Yeah, it
interesting.
starts off with the collar elbow.
Yeah, which fair enough. I don't know. Like Ash said, just batter each other, but they want to prove they're technical wrestlers. The classic
Yeah,
Matt
but
Moore.
neither of them are.
No, no. Do you not remember the technical
Like, I
masterpiece?
wanna prove I have a big dick, but I show that by putting an extra sock in my trousers. Like you don't. So what the fuck are you? Who are you trying to impress?
You not
No one's
remember?
looking at Matt Morgan and Hernandez like, I want to see them work the leg. Just
Hold,
beat fuck out of each other.
hold on. But have you not seen the Owen Hart tribute match of Bret Hart versus Matt Morgan? I believe you haven't, and you should. There
No.
you go. Um, yeah, Matt Morgan and Hernandez do chain wrestling, and then eventually they'll just beat the shit out of each other.
I think
Um,
the most fun bit about this is the finish. Where so they brawl outside. Hernandez does his like super mex dive over the top rope onto the ramp, like onto the staging because it's a lifted stage to the ring, which I like that bit. I do like how the ring is supposed to be a stage. It's not just on the floor. Um, and he does the dive, hurts his shoulder, and then the ref wants to count it out, and Matt Morgan's like, "No, I don't want it to end that way." And then you go, oh, he likes his partner, so he helps Hernandez back into the ring with a gammy shoulder, and just slends him shoulder first into the ape into like the ring post, and then wins with like by rolling up the tights. I'm like, yes, because you get suckered in because it's like, oh, they weren't really supposed to be a team, but now they like each other. And he still cheats to win. Fuck you. Oh, it's fantastic.
he is the DNA of TNA for a reason. But yeah,
What a fun finish.
I didn't mind this. I didn't actually mind like this match. Like Matt Morgan is a decent talent in my opinion. Also will say
Another
this.
star who could have been, but never was.
Yeah. You again. You could have probably built the company. Well, probably not built the company around that. I'm not gonna make it real. But I also found out that he's a politician, so that's going to be interesting. Weird how wrestlers have infected political climates in America, but not really getting into that. But you have Kane in there and Matt Moore. Probably some others I'm forgetting, but yeah. Up next, and I got to do the bit again. It's Mr. Anderson taking on Kurt Angle in another good match in the first round A-card style tournament.
This one creeps up on you really because obviously Angle takes the dog tags to the ring, and I will say this heel run from Mr. Anderson is actually fucking fantastic. Like it is actually really good. As a crowd, you kind of love it, but you also hate it in the same way. So yeah, fuck you. He's gonna say his name again. Fuck up. You already said your name about 10 times. I don't need to hear your name again. But he does it, so you kind of love it, but you kind of hate it. And so he grabs the dog tags and just like busts Kurt open, and Kurt's bleeding. He's bleeding like a motherfucker. And obviously he starts off the match like all full of beans, full of juice, like ready to go. But then the second that he starts bleeding, Kurt's just fully out of it. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it is decent. It's a decent match. I'd recommend people here to check out any match from this card. Check out the second and the first three matches. Honestly, um, it's like again, Kurt Angle is a good safe pair of hands. Like I always said, he's like he is one of the greatest of all time. Is Kurt Angle. I don't need to tell you that. Like if you just watch Angle, you will understand. Um,
It also just adds an extra like heelish edge to Mr. Kennedy, who does need that extra like he needs that extra bit of like pizzazz to actually make him that interesting.
yeah, because like
Because otherwise, you just go, he's a bit of a boring wrestler. He's a bit of a dickhead, and he kind of lacks a bit of that spark. But this way of like setting him up as like he is just an asshole, and he will cheat to win. It's a really good way to do it. And yeah, so Mr. Anderson wins, which is
he
also a big shocker.
he wins, and then obviously in the next match, it's a Bit versus Mick Foley. Which again another first round of the 8 car stud tournament, and Bischoff basically tells them, "Look, if you two don't beat the shit out of each other, I'm gonna unmask Abyss." And Foley's like, "Abyss, look, we just have to beat each other up, okay, man? Look, just lay it in, brother. Bury me softly, brother." To quote our famous Terry Bollea. So yeah, Abyss and Mick Foley just go out there and they have an all right match. Not the best match, but it's a decent, like, they just have a little brawl, and obviously the famous thing is Abyss comes out with the tax, and does Abyss take a back bump? No, he doesn't. He doesn't take a bump on the tax, but Foley does. And I've told Ash this story, but I'll tell this story again. It's like how Chris Jericho did inside the ropes like tour once, and he was telling the story about, if you've watched the famous match he does with Dean Ambrose. I don't know the pay per view, but I think it's Extreme Rules 2016, where they're obviously fighting in a steel cage and it's a hardcore match. Well, hardcore as it can be in a PG era. And obviously one of the spots is the thumbtack spot, like the thumbtack spot where you get backdropped into it. So Chris Jericho, like terrified to do this spot because he had never done this spot, he rings Randy Orton. He says, "Randy Orton, I have to do this spot. What do you think of it?" He goes, "Don't do the spot. It fucking hurts." Okay. Rings Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer says the same thing. Rings Bubba Ray Dudley. Bubba Ray Dudley says the same thing. Rings Foley. Foley goes, "I fucking love doing it. I'll do it again." Fucking just mental. Eh? just Foley just Foley loves falling into tax. So does Abyss. If you've called Abyss, he loves doing it as well. But Abyss also hurts his hand because he gets a thumbtack in his hand. So yeah, there you go. Just decent.
I didn't like this match really. This match was fucking
I mean,
like
you have to admit it's
I don't know.
Foley.
I guess it's the best that Foley's probably gonna do in 2010.
Yeah, that's
But
that's that's my
I do
point.
just don't like. I do just hate how I just can't. I can't look past how fucking horrendously Abyss is treated, and that's my biggest problem. Like I appreciate Abyss. I think Abyss is great. I think Abyss was a very slept on talent, and I think he was never really used particularly well. And his career is just a shame that he decided to stick to TNA, despite TNA's whole idea of Abyss was making him a fucking clown.
Which is
And with that, I hate the presentation of him. Why is he like a quivering pussy? Like, why? Why is he like this? Oh, sorry, Foley. Sorry, Foley. Oh, he strokes his hair every 3 seconds. Like, it's just, I don't know. You just make him silent. You just make him shut the fuck up. No, nobody really likes Leatherface when Leatherface is screaming, just screaming. That's it. You don't like. It's not nearly as scary that way. So just I don't know. It's just disappointing, and the fact that he is just he gets a sock and they have a Mr. Socko off. Then just fuck you. Just fuck you. I just hate it. I don't like it. I don't want to see Foley wrestle ever again. I want
He will.
Abyss to completely change his character,
He won't.
and I'm just disappointed. And Abyss wins. Um, but Abyss is sad that he won. But also, neither of them bled in a way either. And they didn't really. And obviously, the whole point was they didn't really beat the fuck out of each other, but they just did enough.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
it just Foley being in a number one contenders tournament for the world title in 2010 is a shit show.
I mean, I was just gonna say it's very hard because like it's sort of weird because like at this point Foley's body has to be broken. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like I don't like what I mean by that is like he must be more limited in what he can do because if you don't know and if you don't know, I honestly will be amazed. But Foley is like renowned as one of the like legit hardcore wrestlers of his time, and he just did spots that no other wrestler would do, and he just fucked his body up. So the problem I have is it must be very hard for him to even take a back body drop because his back
I
is
mean, he
like
barely does. All this matches are punches,
yeah,
which is fine.
yeah, but like I'm saying, it's just it's seen Foley in 2010. Like at least when he was in the Rumble a year or two later, he appears in the Rumble and then quickly gets eliminated. He doesn't stick around for too long. Like he gets
Yeah.
in, he gets thrown over the rope and leaves. It's why if the match with John Moxley ever happened, you would have to work around Foley's like limited ability. Like not to shit on Foley, I'm just saying you would have to work around it.
He's still a legend. It doesn't
Yeah,
take it away from him.
yeah.
It's
I'm just
just
saying,
he shouldn't have been wrestling in 2010.
yeah. But obviously that match with John Moxley never happened. But if it did, I would have loved it. But I don't know how well it would have went because again, Foley worked in the Rumble because he was just there for about 5 minutes. And I had to barely take any bumps because if you don't know, in a Rumble you can just punch your way in. Like even Iron Sheik. Well, no, Iron Sheik couldn't be in a match. The last time he was in a battle royal, he had to win it because he couldn't go over the top rope. But like you could like all you have to do in a Rumble is basically just bump a little bit. You don't have to really do much. You have to get in, take a few punches, and then get thrown out, and then everyone will be like, "Oh shit, Foley was here." Woo. Yeah, that's just Foley's. We're seeing Foley in 2010, and he's sticking around. I know he's here till 2011, I think. Or he gets released in 2011. I want to say I could be wrong, but up next the cheesy knobs. That is the Nasty Boys. Brian Knobs and Jerry Sags take on Team 3D, Brother Devon, or Brother Devon, and Brother Ray. Um, this match was shit. Built as a
I
dream.
mean, can we just mourn for the fact that the show absolutely died a death after this moment? Like, I, once again, fuck you, Hulk Hogan, for making us sit through the Nasty Boys in 2010. And like, it's not even entirely their fault as well, but it's also like, I mean, let's just be real. Both the Dudleys actually get into really good shape next year. Like, they both got in way better shape after this point in time, and you can tell that they're not entirely comfortable. Bubba's always taken everything as like a face bump, which I don't understand. Like if he feels like he just plants flat for every bump he takes. And this match was shit, and it ends in a fucking Jimmy Hart once again in 2010 interferes and helps the Nasty Boys win.
Woo. This
Just grow up, guys. Just fucking grow up. I'm glad they're only here for like another month or so because hope I never have to see them ever again.
Yeah, it's a shit match, honestly. Built as a dream match, it's gotta be one of the worst dream matches to come to life possible. Um, yeah, it's just what do
And
we?
it's just like it's just punches really. There's no moves. It's punches. It's punches. It's kicks. It's fucking yeah.
Yeah. But up next, the Pope takes on Matt Morgan, the DNA of TNA, the blueprint, the carbon footprint of TNA. Yeah, the Pope defeats Matt Morgan in a again all right match. Not much to write home about. I was telling Ash the reason why this match wasn't really the best is because Matt Morgan is a bigger guy. I'm not trying to excuse him, but I'm just saying he's a bigger guy, so like he couldn't really wrestle more than one match in comparison to say D'Angelo. Like he'd be a bit more fucked because of his hiding
It's
shit.
also just a simple fact that the Pope is the Pope. The Pope will never carry anyone to a great match.
Yeah, yeah.
The foundation that both have to work on. It's decent enough, but the styles don't really blend together too well. And yeah, it's just a very bang average, pretty middling, normal match. But I think the main issue with this one is just the fact that it went on after the Nasty Boys match. And genuinely, I was super hyped up throughout the most of this show until that match. And then that match absolutely destroyed everything. I just went, I want to go home. I don't want to do this anymore. Why the
Um,
fuck are this still happening?
and then and then in the next match, it's Mr. Anderson. Anderson versus Abyss, and he wins against Abyss. He tries to unmask Abyss during this match, like he really tries, and fails to unmask Abyss. Um,
Does he cheat to win? I don't remember.
I think he does cheat to win. I think he low blows him, and then like Mag checks him, and then he wins. And up next, AJ Styles with Ric Flair takes on Samoa Joe, who cashed in his Feast of Fire contract with Eric Bischoff as the special guest referee. And I made a batshit comparison where people will defend Bischoff because he created the NWO. And I said, yeah, he created the NWO, but that's like saying, well, Roald Dahl's a great author because he created Willy Wonka, even though he's a scientist. You know? Just say. Not all great people have great ideas.
He
Um,
is a good author, though.
I mean, yeah, it's just hard to look over that sinus part. Very hard. When you find that out, your whole image of him just fucking crumbles, in my opinion. But that's another topic for another day. We review Willy Wonka, or not Willy Wonka. Fuck, we review Roald Dahl's 367 books of his entire career, from worst to best. Um, like honestly, Edge Styles vs Mojo is a great match. It's just also it's hard because Bischoff doesn't know how to fucking plan this match because he wants to be the referee, and also you do not know how he's gonna plan this match because like they have to try and get Flair in somehow. But obviously, if you are like an OG fan of TNA or you watch TNA, at any point in '05, you just want Star or ROH, I should say, ROH or ROH. There we go. Or like PNG, PWG. I was gonna say PNG. Or any of those promotions where Styles and Joe did wrestle. You just really want Styles and Joe to beat the shit out of each other, like they usually do. But obviously, with Bischoff as the referee and Flair on the outside, you kind of have to interfere these two parts. And that's the one problem with this match. It doesn't work because obviously Styles and Joe usually only work when it's just those two and possibly a third or fourth man. I know that sounds weird, but that's just my critique. Um, and yeah,
I mean, it is that exactly. Like, it's just a simple fact that because of the new facet of AJ's character, now that he has Ric Flair, now that he is he is now the Nature Boy. He's not wrestling like face AJ Styles would, so it doesn't entirely work. It's still a good match, but yeah, just the issue with me is, you know, if 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 watching this show with a burning erection after seeing the Nasty Boys, I just couldn't get up again afterwards. It just fully just sank it, and I just went, just the shame just crept over, and I was just like, oh, why did I even do that to myself? Like, I just feel dirty.
And then in the also how this
But
match
AJ wins.
yeah, how this match ends is Joe Muscle Busters Styles, and then he goes to pin him. Eric Bischoff gets pulled out of the ring by Flair. Bischoff does his karate moves, and then Joe grabs Bischoff's like, "What the fuck you doing, man? Get in the fucking ring, you prick!" And Bischoff's like, "All right, I will." And then Styles Pele kicks him. Styles clash 1, 2, 3, and that's how he wins.
It's
Just
weird that they're protecting Joe so much, considering he doesn't really feature in the main event for most of the time left in TNA.
you got to build it up to the Aces and Eights when he was a part of that. Like,
They just didn't like him.
no, no. And then in the main event, and I should add here, in in um in a backstage promo, Anderson says he's gonna win, and then D'Angelo Dinero says he's gonna win. But then in an insane clown posse jersey, old Scott Hall and Six Pack beat up Pope D'Angelo. You can't beat up the Pope, lads. He's religious. And they beat him up, and yeah. So Mr. Anderson runs out. He's like, count him out, ref. And then D'Angelo Dinero crawls to the ramp, and then Kennedy Anderson goes out and beats him up. Runs back in, goes, count him out, ref. And then goes back out, beats him up, runs back into the ring. And then D'Angelo fights back. Kennedy fights back. And yeah, they just fight back, but it's very hard because obviously D'Angelo has to work hard. And yeah, I Mr. Anderson could have won the match, but he pulls down the microphone from the ceiling. He obviously gets it lowered, and he says, "Look, me, I'm gonna win this match because I'm Mr. Anderson." Mike checks him 1, 2, kick out, and then Pope D'Angelo basically just beats him up and wins. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one as well, because obviously the whole point about Kennedy during this tournament is the fact that he will cheat to win, and none of his victories are clean, so he will cheat and he will cheat. But because he's such an arrogant prick, he has so many opportunities to just win, but he doesn't, and it costs him, which I think is pretty cool. I was kind of surprised. I like the storytelling. I like how they did this. It was a bit slow and ploddy, but that's kind of the part of the nature with the Pope having to come back from injury. Um, but I think it's cool. Um, it's just I was quite surprised, really. I assumed that there wouldn't be a fucking single chance that the Pope would win this. So the fact that he has is pretty cool. But I don't know how I don't know how the face off of AJ and the Pope will be. That's the real thing. And like, do I think that AJ will give the Pope a good match? I don't think so. I don't really think it's possible. And you don't even need it to be, because he is entertaining in his own right. He does have that. He does have the really strong charisma. He does have a good presence. He's got fairly decent character work. But yeah, I think he's good. He's just not quite there. Like, his finish is garbage. Um, but everything else is like wired up that he should be really successful, because he is great. But it just never really makes it, unfortunately.
yeah, and that's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this 33-minute review of Against All Odds. Um, yeah, it was an alright show up till the nasty boys, or the cheesy knobs
Yeah,
as I call them. And then it just stunk the gaff out. But that's classic TNA for you. I can't wait
it's
for.
like It's like, imagine like going out clubbing, and you start talking with like a whoever you're interested in. You start talking with them. It's really exciting. Then you spend the next hour dancing. You start dancing, grinding up on each other. You're like, oh, this is great. We're in. And then the lights come up, and like, or just, I don't know, like all the makeup's off, and you're like, uh well, I hate myself in the morning. It's do I really want to do this? And then you do it, and you go, oh god, that was a bad idea. But you didn't go home by yourself. But at what cost? At what cost?
Yeah, and that is the review. Thank you for watching.
Oh, your microphone's going out.
Oh,
And that's the that's the crux of this show.
yeah,
Like genuinely, if they just didn't have the Dudleys Nasty Boys match on this card, it would have been a really good show.
yeah, and that is the review. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Bye bye.